The views and opinions expressed by the hosts do not state or reflect those of the company and its management. Any assumptions, views, and insinuations made by the hosts or guests do not reflect those of the show, the management, and the network. Listener discretion is advised.
Warning. This podcast contains spoilers.
Third World Cinema Club.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very exciting episode of Third World Cinema Club. I'm Engelbert Rafferty of Film Police Reviews.
So, if he's from Film Police Reviews, I'm from Film Police Reviews as well. My name is Princess Kino.
Hi, I am Jim of Jimmy Licol at iba pa.
Hi, I'm John Tawasil from Present Confusion.
Ayan, and we have two very exciting guests for today. First of all, I'm going to introduce one of our friends from the podcast who happens to also be a member of Film Police Reviews. He's currently based in Canada and has helped us, watch screenings for the very, very exciting Toronto International Film Festival. Give it up for Mr. Rolando Basmayor. Yay!
Yay!
I'm clapping.
Hi guys.
Our second guest for tonight is a very exciting and upcoming YouTuber who's the second half of this exclusive YouTube production called Screen Kings. Give it up for Kevin Oliver Tan.
Hi guys.
Yay!
Glad to be here. This is my first time joining a podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Mag-ingat ka na, PewDiePie. Ganun. Tama ba?
And yeah, I kind of spoiled the whole gathering for tonight. But basically, we're gonna be talking about this exciting film festival. Paulit-ulit ako sa exciting, no? But kasi talagang exciting eh.
Oo. Pwede
But
ka pa
it's-
naman sa event, no?
Gusto ko yun. But anyways, we're gonna cover this year's Toronto International Film Festival. And, it's very exciting because this is one of the many, film festivals this year who did it virtually. I believe the first one, diba, is the We Are One Film Festival that happened sometime in June.
Yeah.
Yan. So Toronto International Film Festival covered 50 films this year, coming from different film festivals as well all over the world, such as Sundance, Venice, Berlin, the supposed Cannes International Film Festival. And we've seen a couple of films from the lineup, so we're going to be talking about it today. Ayan. Ayan, let's start the discussion. But
Okay.
before that, how are you guys? Kamusta naman tayo tonight?
Okay naman. So, I guess it's safe to say na medyo madami nating mga ngayon, films na pinanood. So, everything's kind of like overlapping. But it's good that we're able to manage. Yes. Yun lang.
In fairness,
How about
Yeah.
you, Rolando and Kevin? How are you guys?
Well, doing
So
great. Yeah. Sorry.
you go first. It's okay.
Okay, sorry. Well, I'm grateful because this is one of my dreams to attend the IFF. So even this virtually, at least yon. So yeah, thanks, Rolando.
Correct.
Yeah,
And how about you, Rolando? Sorry.
For
Go.
me, I'm glad kasi it's fun na nanonood ng films together because I discovered about that when I joined the selection committee of Toronto Real Asian Film Festival. After we saw a film, we discussed about it, we debate about the film, whether or not makakasama siya sa cut. And I find it very enjoyable. So that's why I decided to share this experience to you guys because I know that I would like to hear more about films from other perspective, like yung mga films na gusto nyo na hindi ko gusto. I like those clashes. So, I like to see different people reactions about the movies we love.
Yeah. And it's actually very awesome na So, siguro ito yung mga isa sa positive aspects ng pandemic. Don't you guys agree? Na, we get to see Toronto, like, we feel like we flew to Canada, pero in actuality, it's just, at the touch of our fingertips. So, thank you, Rolando, for inviting us to do so.
Thank you, Kuya Roland.
As in, lahat ng mga, nakakita ng post ko, tas natanong, how did you see it? Ganyan. Siguro, ang dami kong sineen zone, tas ilan lang yung mga nireply ko, tas sabi ko, pag tinanong ka paano mo napanood, sabi mo na lang binigyan kitang access tapos 5 days lang siya, gano'n. Ganon.
Kasi yung We Are One, parang kakaunti lang sa atin yung nanood ng marami-rami talaga. Pero ito, parang may kasamang communal experience of watching together. Tapos may schedule. Yun din yung ano ko sa We Are One, although may premiere sila, medyo laissez-faire yung panonood ko din nun. Parang kung kailan ko lang gusto. Pero ito talaga, parang, dapat nandito ka para manood. Parang natuwa ako sa pagkaroon ng
urgency.
Sense of urgency, ganun, tama, parang ganun.
In the coming days or in the coming months, how film festivals will be working out their virtual screenings. For example, we have the upcoming Filipino film fests like Activista, tsaka Daang Docu, wherein they're launching their platforms online. And at the same time, we also haven't heard from major film fests like Q Cinema and Cinema One Original. So, knowing na merong mga ganitong platforms like Toronto, like We Are One, at least we're getting like a visual of how we're gonna be doing film festival releases in the future, maybe in the coming years even.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Jim? How did you find the whole festival proper of the IFF?
Exciting siya kasi para kang nanonood ng Q Cinema. Sorry na mention yung Q Cinema kasi may schedule eh. So para kapag di mo naabutan because of the schedule, sorry, na-miss mo na ganun. So katulad ko, kasi panggabi yung pasok ko, hindi ko kaya mag-quit for The Father. So sayang. Sabi niyo pa naman maganda. So mamaya pag-uusapan yan. No? So ayun. Saka nakakatuwa lang kasi parang di ba pag sa screening may napapansin sa eksena or whatever. Talagang ko-comment sa chat.
Yan yung yun yung parang online equivalent ng nag-uusap sa sinihanap ng Hindi ba nagaganunan din naman tayo pag nanonood tayo sa si Jack and Popoy. Yung lalait-lait natin
Yung may context ng Romeo and Juliet, di ba? Sa tabi ng kama ni Maine Mendoza.
Correct. Tapos ang pinakamaganda aspect doon is yung kakapalan ng makeup ni Tsaka yung use ni Maine Mendoza ng MAC products. Kaya flawless yung kanya. Ayun. Okay, so I guess we could start.
Yes.
Game.
Let's talk about naman some of the films that we have seen during the festival. So we're gonna talk about the discussion to what we guys felt about the film, what you guys thought about it, and so on. So let's start with the first film that we saw. Its title is Get the Hell Out. It's directed by Wang Yifan, and it's a political zombie apocalypse-like satire, about this security guard who messes up the campaign of a member of the parliament in Taiwan, diba? And then basically the whole story revolves around an upcoming zombie apocalypse that none of the characters are expecting to happen. Yun. Yeah. So, ayun, the floor is open. What do you guys think about Get the Hell Out?
I think, Rolando, how about you? Since mas madaming beses na ata itong napanood rin.
So, yeah, I personally like the film, pero I think yung gonzo narrative niya is sort of acquired taste for a lot of audiences. So, there are some types of audiences that will like the goofiness of this film, and meron din ng mga hindi makakonect, and yung political aspect, probably some people would wonder how they can connect to this film because it's about the Taiwanese parliament, right? And we know how politicians there are brawling, and it might not be necessarily applicable to other nationalities. So I'm thinking that the audience for this film might be splitted, and hindi lahat makakagusto. But I personally like it. I enjoyed it. That's why after the second week I joined you guys. So, yun.
Ako din, I extremely enjoyed Get the Hell Out. I didn't actually expect it to be, as grandiose as it is. Siguro, maybe it's due to the lack of my experience in watching Taiwanese films. Pero it's my first time to see something na parang mix siya ng Stephen Chow, and yun nga, may pagka-Sion Sono rin siya ng dating because it's very gory. Pero like I said, I guess to you guys, na parang it's very perfect for Midnight Madness kasi nga very gory nga siya, pero at the same time in context siya sa social, or meron siyang social commentary din when it comes to the politics in Taiwan. And I guess that's also what I admire about their Taiwanese people in general. They're very vocal about about these kinds of things, and hindi sila takot na may mangyari sa kanila masama kasi very democratic din naman yung nila, yung social system in some ways. So
ako naman personally, I also love Get the Hell Out. I think I think it's a little rough around the edges, pero the way it presented its commentary kasi not just about what do you call this, the government, the Taiwanese government, kasi if I'm not mistaken, if I remember it correctly, yung mga ganap or yung happenings in the film, they're all still grounded or based on reality. The meeting in the parliament with many people barging and entering the room and then throwing things at the prime minister, ganyan. These are things that happen in real life, and there are YouTube videos to prove that. Very effective nga yung pagka-Stephen Chow, pagka-Sion Sono, no approach ng director. Although it's definitely not like a new approach to the zombie genre in a way. Pero it did its job and supported siya by a very powerful ensemble. I personally do not know the actors who portrayed each of the characters, pero lahat sila magaling they carried the weight of the film so much. That's why it felt very compelling to watch.
It's very timely, right? Because they talk about the vaccine, about how government capitalized vaccines, and that's supposed to be free. So I think it's very relevant sa pandemic, even though may mga subtext na hindi sila makaka-relate like politics. But the issue of the pandemic and how government are resolving it, makaka-relate sila how they see, because the government tends to make profit out of this despite na marami ng gulo.
Tama. Very fitting din yung zombie apocalypse choo-choo niya, no? In fairness. Although we've seen a lot of films na may zombies, pero ito kasi ang ganda ng context niya kasi. Yeah.
And natawa ako, may nag-comment sa Facebook na yung may synopsis ng film. Watch this film. It's about politicians turning zombies in the parliament. Then may nag-reply, so it's a documentary.
Saka hindi siya new to Filipinos, if I may say. Kasi if we're gonna bring up what's going on within the government setup in the film versus what's going on in the Philippine society, very relatable. Lahat na nangyari kung paano dinesign, how the characters were designed, how they act, how they behave. It's very centered on reality. And ang funny kasi this was filmed sometime in October of 2019. So nagkataon na in the middle of a pandemic, they released this and, everyone gets to relate to it.
Berna, I have a question to you guys who have watched the film. Do you think how feasible would it be to make, to remake this film sa Filipino setting? Kunyari sa camera, tapos may mga zombie-zombihan doon. Do you think it's, papatok kaya sa audiences?
It will be fun.
It will be fun. I think so. Kasi we love zombies here, or zombie films naman. Pero how about you guys? Like, ano sa tingin niyo yung magiging spin pag dito siya? Kasi feeling ko hindi siya kasing crushing nung ganun. Pero alam mo yun, parang siguro ba iibahin lang ng konti yung plot niya.
Kasi kung ako gagawa niyan, the angle would be a very, very dark like comedy, no? Parang ang dami ng sources of comedy sa gobyerno natin ngayon, to be honest. So, pero parang lang, just look outside. Yun, meron ka nang makikitang material for this. Parang this film writes itself
Yeah. Ayun.
Totoo. Hindi ko magiging kung set siya sa Philippine setting, maganda kung may pagka-Sorkin, parang walk and talk yung approach niya, and at the same time, tawag dito, talagang yung mga nangyayari, yung mga social issues natin na bring up. You know, parang may combination siya ng Block Z ni Mikael Red. Yung stylistic approach ni Mikael Red do sa Block Z, pero may pagka Aaron Sorkin para talagang classy siya, stylistic, pero at the same time, tawag dito, tamang-tama.
Ayan. Interesting. Who would you want to direct this film kung dito sa Pinas?
Brilyante. Charot!
Si Love Diaz, tas 9 hours.
Yung 1 hour nun, hinahabol lang sila, no?
Ng zombies.
Habulan lang. Oo.
Pero I'd watch that Love Diaz zombie film. Holy shit, man.
Kung musical nga, kaya niya, yes.
Yes, paano pa zombie film?
Correct.
Piling ko si Jet Leiko. Ako, personally. Kasi yung mga directorial choices ni Jet Leiko, feeling ko mag-work kung gagawa siya ng zombie film.
Actually, no? Actually. I agree. Yeah,
Siguro interesting si Chito Ronyo kasi he's doing mga horror films eh. Although patay na si Peke, di ba? Pero ang nakikita ko siguro Chito Ronyo for a zombie film. Wala pa akong napapanood na ganun niya eh. Na horror eh.
Na zombie?
Oo.
Oo nga, no? Pwede nga. I'd like to see him play with the genre.
Totoo. Yun. So, any more thoughts about Get the Hell Out?
Okay naman ako.
Wala na. So, yun. Next film, let's go to Okay, so next film, let's go to Gaza Strip, to Palestine. There's a film there. It's called Gaza Mon Amour. It's directed by the Nasser brothers. It's about this 60-year-old fisherman who's secretly in love with a woman who's almost within the same age as him. Tapos, Apollo statue with an erect penis on it. So, as soon as, he discovers that statue, a lot of weird events unfold within the film. And at the same time, it also gives us a look at the character, the fisherman in the film. So, ayun, what are your thoughts, guys, about Gaza Mon Amour? Doc?
Yeah, I wrote a review about this blog ko. It follows then, it's a very funny film, surprisingly funny, given na the subject matter is not very funny. It's number one, it shows you how a simple love story. I mean, this love story is the kind of love story na kung sa pelikula to, tapos na to like in 30 minutes. Ganon. Na tipong man meets woman, man does awkward things, parang they fall in love, ganyan. And it adds layers of absurdity on top of it. Na the absurdity is parang rooted din in reality. Kasi yung pinakahadlang sa romance ng dalawa is yung parang yung bureaucracy or yung parang kawirdohan ng mga sistema ng ng ruling, like the ruling majority, yung Hamas. And additionally, I noticed din parang themes within the film. May parang obsession with may obsession with phalluses ng konti yung mga government officials dun sa pelikula. Kung napapansin niyo. Oo.
Mm-hmm.
'Di ba na the statue is a symbol of virility, of parang macho strength. Tsaka yung detached penis din kasi talagang yun hinanap talaga nila, 'di ba? While there's a very pivotal scene near the end of the film na nagpaparada sila ng peke na rockets. So rockets in themselves are parang phallic symbols din. So parang they're trying to flaunt their power kahit na wala technically silang power over yung situation. So that's why they take out that parang frustration on the citizens. So yun yung parang basa ko dun sa pelikula, no? The two leads are very magaling sila. Si Hiam Abbas tsaka si Salim Dao. You might have seen them in a couple of American TV series, in a couple of other movies. Abbas in particular was the star of the Nasser Twins' previous feature. Yung ano nga ba yun? Degrade. Diba? And so yun, they deliver a very good performance together. Tsaka sobrang cute nung ending. Wala lang, nakita na ako sa ending. Na tipong kahit na ang daming, there are so many inconveniences or obstacles in the way of love. Ang parang ano ng film is go lang ng go. So that's what I appreciated about it. I enjoyed the film a lot. Yan.
Yun. Kuya Jim, ikaw?
Ako, I find the film just like what John said. Surprisingly, charming yung film. At first, sabi ko, gosh, puyat ako nito, so baka mamaya makatulog ako. Di ba medyo aminado, may pagka-slow pace din naman yung film. However, it's interesting to watch a film na yung romance ay about elderly or geriatric people, no? So, yun ang maganda with the film. Tapos, I also agree with John dun sa phallic symbol ng film. Kasi, nung makita niya agad yung statue, di ba, dun sa tawag dito sa dagat. Ano ba to? Call me by your name ba ito? Kasi meron na naman tayo nakikita statue, ganyan. Tapos di ba, very tawag dito, very obvious na nakita natin, di ba, yung tawag dito, yung yung erected penis or yung penis dun sa statue, di ba? And then, ang dami nagka-interest, di ba, yung from dun sa jeweler ata yun na parang pinatingin niya kung ano ba to, ganun, and then gusto mabili, and then even the government, di ba? Parang nagtaka sila bakit may nawalang part dun sa statue, ganun. So, I believe yun yung same with John. It's also a symbolism ng parang yung pagpapakita ng authority or power ng nasa government, especially sa men, ganun. And then, ang magandang part pa with Gaza Moon Amor, kahit na meron siyang romance and slight humor, hindi kasi doon tinanggal yung part na mayroong war between Israel and Palestine.
Ayun. Ikaw, Kuya Rolando, what are your thoughts about Gaza Moon Amor?
I think I particularly like yung fact na we know that the violence surrounds the story, because we know Palestine, the conflict, but the director chose not to use this display of violence on screen. We just know it happening in the background, pero wala hindi siya gumamit ng any blood or any real bombs or like explosions to let the audience know how big the conflict is in Palestine. So gusto ko yung artistic decision na yun. Although yung pagiging charming niya, calm film, I think that's also the reason why mas marami akong film na nare-recall instead of Gaza Mon Amour. You know, I like the film, but it's not that memorable for me because of its lightness, cuteness. So, walang maraming things na mare-recall ako about the film. Although I find it really nice and I like it.
Yun, no? Ako naman, with Gaza Mon Amour, I agree with what everyone said. It's a very subtle film. It's very sweet and it's very gentle. In a way, may pagka-deadpan yung approach, Aki Kaurismäki yung approach dun sa film because there's humor, but at the same time, it's not an in-your-face sort of humor. It's more of an implied sort of humor. Kaya if you recognize these touches, matatawa ka talaga. And it's a very impressive way of setting up a romantic story within a political landscape, no? Because obviously there's a lot of things going on with the Gaza Strip, with Palestine, but it wasn't, sabi nga ni Kuya Jim, it wasn't given much of a highlight, no? Mas na-highlight or mas given ng attention yung issues within the government or issues within the police system in the country or in the independent state. Again, I agree na Salim Dao and Hiam Abbas gave great performances. And yeah, it's just a joy to watch. Yun. I really liked it. I really liked it. Yan. Any more thoughts, guys, about Gaza Mon Amour?
Ox na.
That's it. That's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. This would not be made possible without your support, and of course with the help of Cudburn Podcast Network's team, headed by Patricia Marie Ferrer, Network and Podcast Manager Ellie Kirong Cole, Social Media Manager Rowan Palomares, Business Development Team Lead Lee Lirio, and from the creative side, Christina Lido and Andre Luis Castillo Ibanez. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts from.
Third World Cinema Club.